this to me is just a stunner, well designed. I think this came out in the 2000s, right? So middle school, the front end video came out by Pharrell, and I was like, wow, that man got girls. You know, he got girls. And I remember he had this watch, and I was like, whoa.
Let's just get into the watches. I mean, you brought some really incredible stuff here. Which of these pieces was the first to make it into your collection?
It's definitely the date. It's really the first like gold watch I ever purchased. We now do these things to the watches called rework.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of slowly working on with a few of my friends on just like redoing the watches in my own perspective. And
and this one has a really beautiful engraving on the back too,
oh
right?
my God, this brings me back. It's so old to me, you know, like I'm just like, you know, I started collecting watches when I was what, 24?
Okay.
Yeah, 24, 25. But it wasn't like at any, you know, by any means, I wasn't like a crazy level. I just wanted watches because when I was growing up, that was one of the things that my father and I really bonded on. And yeah, I wanted to show him. I remember I bought him I bought 3 actually. It was 1 for him, 2 for me, and the pagoda. And I remember I came home, I was like, wait, this is actually really stupid. I'm still living at home. And I bought these watches.
Yeah, but you got a sick car and a great watch.
Right. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm doing right.
Yeah.
I'm doing right. He's like, yeah, but you still live at home.
And then you continued collecting vintage Rolex, which I think is a cool kind of entry point.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why vintage Rolex is where you went first?
Well, that was what's most familiar to me. You know, like growing up, I watched James Bond with my father, and I really was just into the timeless pieces and the timeless design. And I thought, you know, I didn't have that, you know, by any means I'm not there yet, but still, like when I started to buy these things, I didn't have that much money. So I wanted to make sure that it was at least safe, and I knew, and I wasn't too fond of all the movements and all the other informations that, you know, kids really ultimately care about now. But I thought what looked great was what I wanted, you know, and at the time I attracted to the vintage car and the vintage watches.
Yeah. And so you went from a day-date in solid gold to a two-tone GMT. This
was a watch that I couldn't get the full gold, so I was like, yeah, I'll do the two-tone. That feels right. Yeah. That's me. And I would wear this watch to pick up fabrics. I was doing my own production and my accounting and my delivery, all of it. I mean, all of it. I was taking it to cutting and sewers and all of that. I was negotiating prices, and yeah, this brings me back to just really good memories. And I don't know, I felt like I was doing something right.
And then you move into some other modern Rolexes, stuff that's a little more, I would say, just like fun watches.
Right.
Like these are watches that I look at them and I can't help but smile. How about this mother of pearl Daytona, which is a watch that I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I've ever seen one in the wild.
Yeah, this is, I never really wear it. But as we progressed, you could kind of see how I started to collect very differently. And, you know, I think this was the time when we just started really opening up distribution. And I think, you know, the growth of it went from bandana to what we call the tuxedos. And we opened up other categories in the business. And I wanted to watch that matched that milestone. At the time, I was like, okay, how can I get a Newman, but I can't. So how do I get something within that realm, but kind of, it's not even within that realm, but I just wanted something that was like cool and special.
This watch has great details though. Like I love the little gold like flex and the subdials and the way the diamonds are set. It's a watch that I think gets better the more you look at it.
I think I had rap dreams when I bought this.
Okay.
You know, you could see like how this too was so intertwined.
Yeah.
You know, I was figuring it out.
This watch is one, I think this might be the first Pearl Master ever on Talking Watches.
Yes, you can call me, I don't know, Little Rhuigi with this watch. Little Rue, that would be my rap name.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, this is a Pearl Master, and Pearl Master Datejust.
And this is all factory.
Everything is factory. And it's a beauty. I wear it with suits. Wow. I still,
It is.
yeah.
It
I
is
mean,
a sparkly
you
watch.
can kind of tell when I really like started to really go
Yeah.
after a few times. You know, obviously after watching Hodinkee, I was like, oh shoot, if I ever make it in there, I better have something correct.
And then from Rolex, I mean, I know you're still interested in Rolex, but you kind of moved into the world of Patek, right?
Love
And that's
Patek.
you're kind of in the deep end now.
This is where
with
my
Patek.
smile gets bigger now.
Yeah.
The thing about my attitude is like when I start to love something, I want to dive in and learn and learn and learn. So what's special about this is like you guys are catching me at the time where I'm just like learning as I'm going. You know, like I can't give you the backstory of how these things are developed, but it's something that I loved, and I'm learning as I'm purchasing them.
Which of these Pateks was the first that you added to the collection?
Well, this would mark as my first complication.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Cool.
5205. This is so beautiful. I think the white gold with the blue is starting to really get, I mean, it's popularized.
Yeah.
I love the moon face. What can I say wrong about this watch?
Yeah. I think this is quietly one of the coolest watches Patek makes.
Right. And I think it's going to be a moment when people, well, my focus now with watches is to try to bring attention to dress watches for the young guys, because we're putting a lot of pressure on sport watches and
Yeah.
you know, all the Nautiluses and you know, all the Rolex sport watches. We tend to forget that these are the catalyst for the big brands. You know,
Yeah.
their most proud work are the complications and the minute repeaters and
Yeah.
all of that. And I think, you know, that to me is like, as a brand too, is very similar.
Right.
You know, like I make the t-shirts, I make the hoodies, all of that, which is like the sportswear. Our most proud work is the tailored garments, the leather goods, all these things that take meticulous hours and time with, you know, hand work and all of that. To me, that's like the specialty in all brands.
I think it's really interesting that even the sport watches you brought are all complicated in a certain way, right?
Right.
Like we've got two Nautilus here, but they're a 5980 and a 5990, right? Like you've got a chronograph and a travel time chronograph. Which of these two do you wear more often?
Probably the 5990, since
Okay.
I got that very recently, but I just purchased this. This is a 2021 bracelet. I'm so honored to have gotten it for my birthday. Yeah, and I have it as on the certificate as my birthday, and I think that's
awesome, man.
That's like, I want to look back at that when I go into Geneva, into the showroom, or I go do the walkthrough, and they were telling me that they keep a profile on all your purchases, and I want to like go back in time and look back at it like, wow, I bought that for my birthday, you know. And the more I fall in love with just timepieces, I want to create like real serious memories with them, you know. So now I'm more thoughtful when how I purchase things.
I think this watch is a good one to talk about next. I mean, this kind of combines a lot of the things we've been talking about, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's got that little touch of yellow for Rhude. It's a sport watch, but it's like, I know you sometimes wear it on a leather strap. Tell us about this watch.
So Richard Mille is amazing. This was the watch that I brought back to the Philippines with me, where I was born and raised for a few years of my life. I got my citizenship a year ago. After 20 years, got my citizenship with hard work, you know, and I think this is the watch that carries it from this all the way to here, you know. So when I started the brand, I was really like, I had nothing, you know. Like, I was living at my parents' and I didn't even really know what I was doing, you know. I was like, okay, let's see if this works. And it's hard to take risks when there's things that are like certain, or like just life things that you have to do, like pay the bills and just stuff that's necessary. And I took a risk, and this is the reward. You know, this was the risk, and this is the reward in a way. This is a special watch for me.
And you've got another kind of like super high-tech watch on your wrist right now.
Oh, yeah, this is the OG Concept GMT by Audemars Piguet. I've been wearing it nonstop.
Yeah.
It's so big, and I don't wear watches this big. So this is leading more to like what I want to do in the future with the brand. So as we pay homage to vintage culture and all of like re-ushering old classic cuts, I do have a side of me that's more futurist, you know, and as I'm developing what the next future goals are for the brand and myself, or whatever sportswear we're doing, I like to indulge in things that kind of feel like that.
That brings us to, I guess, the last watch on here, which I know I spotted you wearing this at your most recent show, Monaco with God's Help.
Yes. I use the word Monaco as like a perfect day, as a, not so much as a literal thing. And I created a collection of like what a perfect vacation day would look like. And I walked out, and I remember I was picking which watch I would wear, and I was thinking, I was like, okay, which one is the coolest one to look at with this all-white suit?
Yeah.
And it's this perpetual calendar. This to me is just a stunner, well-designed. I think this came out in the 2000s, right? So middle school, the front end video came out by Pharrell, and I was like, wow, that man got girls. He got girls. And I remember he had this watch, and I was like, whoa, what is that AP? I mean, this is, to me, like, it felt like I did something right, and I wear it on vacation. All these watches combined, I still turn to this, until I can get like a one of one, That's like my goal now,
Yeah. One of the things I loved about going, I attended your show, and one of the things I loved about being there is the energy that you've been able to create. The community and the excitement around Rhude is like, you can like feel it in the air, you can like taste it.
Yeah.
And I wonder how you think about building that kind of like following and that kind of energy and getting people. It was clear to me that like you had a couple hundred people at this show,
right?
And they all felt like really deeply connected to what you were doing, and that's a powerful thing.
So I guess that's a testament now to what my understanding of what building a brand is. Look, in the beginning, I was building pillars to the brand. I was building the tuxedos, the shirts, and as we continuously grow, now I'm all about like, what world am I taking my customers to? Like, are they smoking a cigar? Are they drinking, great fine wines? Or they're wearing loafers? Like, where am I taking them to? So I took the opportunity for the show to build that world with them, where you had Davidoff as our partner, Louis Trey's, Armando Brignac, all the right things that I think would make a perfect day. You had the Champagne Tower. It felt like a Roaring *20s sort of thing, right?
Exactly.
And the hand-rolled cigars. It was such an experience. Even if you didn't smoke cigars, you still would like to like try a little bit of it, So then I'm building this world as I'm going of like this modern gentleman, which is why the dress watches have now been my focus.
Yeah.
I pray we get to do another one where I got a minute repeater and all of that. But again, I'm also like at that moment in my life where I'm just like building and building and building.
Yeah.
And I'm by no means like where I want to be just yet. But we're going as we build it.